I'm the internet police.
Welcome to The Game Case, a show for,
well, anyone that plays World of Warcraft.
The show rife with ramblings, tips, tricks, and goings-on in WoW.
Here's your host,
Chris Case.
Well, hello, hi, howdy, and welcome to episode 20 of The Game Case. I am Chris, also known as Cuddles, a brewmaster monk on Airy Peak in the Convert to Raid Guild. Tonight I am joined by Hunting Party podcast moderator, Altaholic, lore watcher, Empress of Email, the lovely Miss Alessander. Alessander, how are you doing?
You forgot Chipmunk.
Oh, and also tonight she is in her chipmunk form. I know there's a lot of stuff going around. Alessander identifies as a chipmunk, and we will be treating her accordingly tonight. So
thank you. I respect your respect for my nuttiness.
You are indeed the nuttiest one on the podcast tonight. So how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing pretty good. It's been a pretty good week. It's gone by like super fast. And apparently BlizzCon's coming up, and I did not realize it was that fast. So that's a little bit stressing.
Yep. This is actually, we're recording right now on August 13th. It is 10:30 Eastern. You have a little over 24 hours now to get in your very final name changes on those BlizzCon tickets. So folks, if you happen to be listening, watching, or I think those are actually the only things that you could do. You won't be tasting or smelling us. Or touching. Is touching the other one? Anyway, if you happen to be listening to this and you need to do something with BlizzCon tickets, make sure you get it done quick. You only have a short amount of time. But BlizzCon's still a couple months away. So why don't we talk a little bit about what we've been doing this week in WoW, then maybe talk a little bit about Legion stuff, dig into some of the lore. I know there's some 6.2.2 news going on, and the reason that I have Alessander here, she is a lore nut. As a chipmunk, that's very helpful, and we're really gonna dig deep into Legion and talk a little bit about the lore surrounding, in, around, all that fun stuff. But Alessander, what have you been up to this week in WoW?
Oh, not much. Just kind of like hanging out with my friends. We did the Circle of Optimism last night, and my friend actually got one of the mounts to drop, which was, I'd already run that dungeon particularly that week, so I couldn't actually go in with them. So they went in without me, and while I was hanging around outside, the mount actually dropped, and it's one of those like 1 in 100,000 mounts. So not that I'm jealous or anything, but you know, someone's gotta die real soon. So other than that, it's going pretty well, I guess.
Well, what mount was it?
Missions and all that. It was the one from, what's it called? Throne of the Four Winds, I think. One where you got the four corners with the bosses above Uldum, and then you got Alakir in the center.
The Drake of the South Winds?
It's one of the winds. It's north,
Drake
south, east, west.
Drake of something. Drake
Yeah.
of, thank God I have this thing. I'm going to ride it around now for a week.
Yeah, that's what he did too. He came out and was like showing it off. He's like, "Oh, that's nice, Taz. That's great. That's just great. Congratulations, Taz. That's just awesome."
Aw, that moment where you want to be happy for your friend, but you're really just kind of upset and jealous.
Yeah, they're really good friends though, so it was all right. I actually was not the one that was really upset about it, but Taz has got this thing where he's like this. He's kind of like our Dark Brew on the Hunting Party podcast. Because Dark Brew is just like walks through a zone and rare animals just like spawn at his feet. It's weird. It's freaky weird, and I envy that talent. Well, Taz is the same way with mounts, rare mount drops. I don't know how many he's got right now, but he's just, I don't know. It's like every week he's like, you know, and I got another mount, and he just got the 150,000 Apexis one from Tanan earlier this week, the green purple bird. He got something else as well this week, or maybe it was a pet. And then he got the Drake of the whatever wins, and it's just it's kind of fun to watch because these mounts really do drop. It's just not for me, you know? So you got to be happy for other people, or otherwise you're just going to be really bitter about the whole thing. I mean, it's like the ICC one, you know, Invincible. I have never seen it, but people swear that it exists.
I may have picked that one up my like 6th or 7th time in ICC ever.
Cuddles.
Yeah, I'm sorry. And also, I wasn't gonna mention that one because everybody, like, people have been farming that for years and crying about it.
If you have Imran's head, you better not tell me so.
I do not.
Okay.
But I do. No, the very first day that I joined CTR, I came from a very low pop server, transferred over to Airy Peak, joined CTR, and I was in guild for 15 minutes maybe. And somebody said, "Hey, does anybody want to go run Firelands?"
Oh no.
Well, my tune was like level 70, which is about appropriate for Fireland.
Yeah.
Like that's like Fireland's level.
It's like 80, 85, but yeah.
Okay, there you go. I was whatever level it was that was like the lowest that I could get in, maybe 76, something like that. So I was like, well, I can come, but you know, my tune's really low level. So they invite me in, and I die. Like something looks at me and I fall on the ground, and they're great. They're rezzing me. They don't care.
Yeah.
They're just bringing somebody else along.
Mm-hmm.
Al's Resort.
Yeah.
Mount drops.
Mm-hmm.
Roll. I'm riding around on a flaming chicken.
I know.
And I love
we had
it.
that drop once when we were doing the progression,
Oh.
and never seen it again. And the guy didn't even really want it, but we made everybody roll on it, and so of course he was the one that got it.
The guy that probably never uses it.
We made him use it though, because that was the requirement. Is if you roll on it, you have to use it. Otherwise, it's just a waste, and we'll give it to somebody that really wants it. And so for like just the 5 minutes it took to do the rolls, I guess he wanted enough to do the rolls. It's the weirdest.
He wanted to gamble. He didn't want the mount.
That could be.
He
I don't
just
know.
wanted to win.
Yeah. But you know, when back in the day when you actually did that raid, there would always be like the people that hang out outside the entrance, and they would all have their flaming chickens or their ultra rare drownts or Mimron's head or Ashes of Olar, and just hang out there flying while they're waiting for the rest of their guild to show up or something like that. And it was like really annoying because it's like, you know, you people are just showing off because, you know, because we have to stay here because we're waiting for our guild and stare at you guys with your Mimron's head and your Ashes of Olar. It's not fair.
Oh, jeez.
It's what it is.
Oh,
So he
that's
was
great.
like, you know, hanging out on his chicken that he didn't really want. So.
Aw. What's what
Yeah.
I have the chicken, I have Invincible. That's like the extent of my rare mount. I only think I have maybe 40 mounts. Like in total, being a new player, like I chase down, I do my own circle of disappointment.
Optimism.
There you go, circle of optimism. I actually have fun. I use it on the days where I don't want to think, and I run around and I do them. I do have Pound Fist.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not really rare. You just need to not have a life or get lucky. And mine was definitely the former. I had no life.
Yeah, I don't have
So-
that one, but it's a question of I've not taken the time to go try and do it. Basically, that's my fault.
Yeah, I stayed home sick from work one day, and I didn't. I was like actually sick, but still working, and so I just camped out. I just joined a group and sat in a spot, and I'd look over at the monitor every now and again. And at some point, I think it was about 10 p.m. that night, I ended up staying up because I was like, I'm not giving up now. And then the mount popped. But anyway, we have a lot.
I did that for the Dark Moon Rabbit this past Dark Moon Fair. Just like hung out outside the cave, and everybody's like, "Hey, you want to go do something?" Like, no, just hanging out at the cave, waiting for the rabbit. Never saw it. Anyway, go on.
Oh, Well, this week for me was absolutely wonderful in Warcraft. Had a whole lot of fun. Did not get to raid with my weekend raiding team, Bacon and Kegs.
I love that name. Is that not the best name?
Isn't it fun? And that's the thing is we're an early morning raid team. So we raid at 5 a.m. server 5 a.m. server. And we have a few folks from Australia. So they're raiding at like 10 p.m. for them. So we have people that are drinking and people that are trying to wake up. And so Bacon and Kegs was just, it was perfect for us. But didn't get to go with them. Had an epic Earl boss poll this week. Little in real life action going on. I had a buddy that got engaged or has been engaged. Had a party, so that was a great thing to be a part of. And
you guys are in Mythic, aren't you?
No, we're normally a heroic team. We went through some changes coming into Hellfire. Actually strengthened our team a whole lot more, but we are 8 of 13 normal right now. Hoping to progress into heroics here fairly soon. Fingers crossed. I did get to, however, raid with Rubber Chicken Coalition this week, which is my Tuesday raid team. Our kind of absent as of late raid leader, Mr. Swayze, was able to come in and lead us to a triumphant victory over Gorefiend. So I got a little picture. I'm going to throw it up here. This is me and the chickens with our "We got you, you fat bastard" team shot. Because I have to tell you, we went into Hellfire and I think we were 5 of 13 within the first 3 weeks.
I think everybody was.
Yeah, and then we've been pounding our head on Gorefiend and just could not seem to get it. We even last week we actually extended our lockout and then wiped on Gorefiend something like 26, 27 times. And could not get him down. So this week we had a nice smooth clear up to him. We were able to figure the big guy out, and we'll be progressing right on through. We still have to go back in there, unfortunately, since he is a tier boss. We'll be playing with him just a little bit more before we can totally skip him. But I think we got it down.
Well, he was the one that, I mean, Method and those other Paragon and all those, they were one-shotting all the bosses. Then they hit Manaroth or whatever his name is. And it was just like a hit in a wall. It didn't stop them for that long, but it was definitely, going from no kill, no dying at all, or one dying, or maybe two, to just suddenly hitting him. And I don't know if it's a DPS check or whatever, but yeah, he was definitely the very first wall.
Oh yeah, and then Archimon, he stood up for quite a while. And
he really did. I was starting to get extremely worried, especially when they all had to start going back to work and everything.
Oh yeah, well they said initially like first. Before the first hotfix or the first reset, I don't remember where it got fixed, but Archimon was just broke. Like he was not going down. He had he was
putting out like a ridiculous amount of damage or something like that. I think they said.
Yeah, they had said that it was they had done the math, and it would take them 44 holy pallies to heal through the amount of damage that he was pushing out in one of his raid wides. And I think they just didn't have enough holy pallies. Basically, that was the problem.
It's a 20-man raid.
If you're going to be a mythic team, you need to act like one and suck it up and figure it out. I'm just saying. But no, after Blizzard fixed that, they were able to get him down, but from what I've heard...
Well, it wasn't that, it's that they were able to get into, like, the second phase, because they weren't even able to get to that because the damage was just so strong at that point. But then once they fixed that, because they were the very first, and I don't think Paragon had gotten to that point just yet, because it was the first day. And you know that the devs are all watching, so they saw it, and then they fixed it. But then they also had the lockout problems, and... they had, like, on the very first day, their main tanks wasn't even able to be there because he had to be at work. And, it was just crazy things. it was a very strange race this time. Usually it's not like this.
Yeah, it was. It seemed like there was a lot of little things that went on. I know one Tuesday that I was in with Rubber Chickens, we actually something happened. I still never heard what it was. It wasn't the lockout problem. But in the middle of our raid on Tuesday night, they reset it. They reset the entire instance. So something happened. Blizzard saw something and adjusted something. But it was all servers everywhere.
Right.
They just reset on a Tuesday. So it'd be kind of cool to hear what that was, but I'm sure we never will. The one thing that I have heard, though, is that Method hasn't gotten their second Mythic kill.
Well,
they've only put down Archie once, and I know that they're not focusing on that, but still, we're looking at 3 weeks out.
Well, it was such a hard slog, and it was like 742 kills. I mean, they were exhausted.
Yeah.
I mean, when they finally actually killed it, they weren't even that excited. They were just excited that it was over, more excited for that than the actual kill, I think. Because the kill just meant that finally they were done, and I think they were super tired of it. And then all of them took off for like a vacation for at least a week or two. And then they picked back up, but of course they had to go to Gamescom this past weekend, and they were doing a live raid or live something.
I hadn't even thought about that. So yeah, they've been busy people. I will forgive them. I will let them, you guys can stay on the team. I'm not coming in to take your spot this week. You're okay. But
they probably cleared it today, because I saw Sko on his Twitter was that they were going to be doing it as soon as he got back from the gym or something like that. And then he got stuck in traffic. So for all I know, they're still 1-0, but
nice.
Yeah, they'll be on farm soon enough.
Oh yeah, and I'm sure both of my raid teams will be there soon too. We'll have Mythic on farm before you know it, guys. Like maybe in 2 or 3 expects.
I wish we could get them to come play on US servers. It would be nice to have a US team that's first.
That's what I'll take that statement and flip it on its ear. That I would like to see a native US team. Just like I had
ready for Highmall.
Yeah, and they weren't raiding 17 hours a day, 7 days a week, 6 days a week, whatever schedule they choose to pick. And then Highmall, Blackrock, Hellfire, like boom, 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 comparatively to the amount of time where they weren't. So, yeah, I mean, it's if they're going to stick with this shorter X-Pack release schedule and they're going to keep the tiers tight, I think we're just going to see this.
I asked Lou about that, and I think I asked Roger as well, Roger Brown, because I wanted their opinion of the whole thing, because it seemed to me that because they were running out of vacation time and it was just taking so long to get these bosses down, and like I said, they did sound really tired. But they like it being like as hard as they can stand, and they don't want it to be changed. So they're okay with it, then I'm okay with it.
Well, and I don't necessarily think it's a bad thing, but I think it's Sloot's cool with it, or Sko's cool with it, and I mean even talking to some of the folks on Midwinter, they're cool with it, but that doesn't also mean that I'm okay with this from a competitive standpoint isn't going to cull out a lot of the people. There's definitely going to be people on your team that aren't cool with it. And even if they are, real life happens.
Yes.
Jobs, work, time off, kidney transplants. Like, crazy things happen. And having to raid the amount that they raided, especially after having been able to relax for the amount of time that they did from Siege to Highmall, I think... we'll never know why each and every person left, and I'm sure it's a myriad of reasons. But, you know what we do know this week?
What do we know this week?
We know all sorts of things. One of them being that there's some new pets and mounts coming in Legion. And Blizz has also told us about the 2015 BlizzCon pet.
Yeah, they're like all of a sudden coming out with all this information. It's strange. It's like this is not the company that I know. What happened to them? Have they been replaced?
Oh, that's awesome. See, this is my first X-Pac
I keep
experience.
forgetting that
So,
you're like so
yeah,
so.
I
Uh,
I have no clue like what to, this is just what I just presume that this is what they do. But this week they actually gave us several different pets that they're going to be coming out with and a couple mounts. So we're going to run down these real quick, show you guys some cool pictures of them. If you're listening on the download, I will have links for these in the show notes. First and foremost, I'm going to show you guys this absolutely adorable purple Nightsaber cub. Now, Alessandra, I know you're a pet collector.
yes,
So the answer is immediately yes.
yeah.
But let's pretend for half a second that you were not
It
one
matches
of
my
the world's most
transmog, Cuddles.
OCD.
It matches my transmog.
Okay, yeah. It's this thing is too cute not to own. I don't think they've said where we're gonna get this one, so maybe Storm Out
I really
or
hope not the storm
Store
out.
Pet rather. But we'll see. And I'll tell you what, purple transmog with either that the mythic rune saber or any of the other purple glowy mounts, and then
I've got
this little guy
the
running
like
around.
Guildmount bird, and I like have purple, and then it's glowing deep purple. Is a
Oh.
really nice combination. And then I can have this running along beside because I don't have another purple pet, battle pet.
Aww. So after the Night Saber, they did announce the Legion Collector's Edition mounts, and I believe they called these guys Nibbles.
Yes.
Absolutely horrifically adorable. For those that are listening on the download, I'm not going to try to describe this. Go check it out. Go to Wowhead or check out the links in the show notes. It kind of looks like if a wolf and predator, like a mommy wolf and a daddy predator, loved each other, and, and they had special hugs. This kind of looks like what they would come up with. It's really really cool looking. I think collector's edition for me is a hands down, like take my money, here's my wallet sort of thing. But how about you, Alessandra? Do you think you would dive into the collector's edition just for these guys?
Oh, I'm getting the collector's edition already. I mean, that's not in question because there's just so much good stuff in the collector's edition. So I always get one. But I don't know what they are either. I don't know if I would actually use them. If I used them, it'd be on my demon hunter, just to walk around because I really don't know what else to say about them. They're just so weird.
They're definitely unique looking.
Yes,
Although I
absolutely.
will say, if there's for my hunter, if there's a pet out there that I can get that also looks like one of these, and then I can have the pet, the mount, and the pet,
Well,
I would
one
be.
of them is the mountain, and the other's the pet. So
Well,
you would
no.
get
I'm
both.
talking. I'm Beastmaster. So
Oh,
I'm talking. If I could have a hunter pet that looks like one of these, and then the companion pet that looks like one of these, and then my mount that looks like that would just that would be
explode the
totes.
internet, I think is the term.
It would be totes adorbs. Absolutely totes adorbs. And
Well, if you are a demon hunter and then you have this and that and then you find a pet like that, that's just, you know, that's just doubling up a little too much. But still,
so we also got the Legacy of the Void, and I'm going to call this a Protoss. I don't know what it is. I don't play StarCraft. I'm sorry. Maybe I will one day. But it's this cool looking little floaty dude with some blue stuff behind him. Cool looking mount. Or I keep on calling these things mounts, don't I? Cool looking pet. And definitely check him out if you're into StarCraft. And then
it's kind of cute. It's like this little guy. He's like that alien scientist guy that was the friend of Raynor. And he's got like a silver hat on and this like little silvery kilt and this blue nimbus around him. He's really, really cute.
he is, and I think following you around, he'll be adorable.
Mm-hmm.
So then we have something that's been talked about in World of Warcraft circles for a long, long time.
Now, do you understand this reference though? Because you're a new player. So, does this mean anything to you that we have a moose?
I have heard the story, but in case we have any listeners that haven't, why don't you tell kind of the tale of the moose, as it were?
Once upon a time, we had a dev named Ghostcrawler, and he was tweeting to us all the time, and it was pretty wonderful. He ran the forums and stuff like that. And for some reason, one time, I don't remember why, he just promised us a moose. Like someone was asking him, what new pets are we gonna have? Like hunters are always asking him, like, what new pets are we gonna have? Are we gonna have new families? And they actually gave us a whole bunch, but they did not give us the moose. And then the Canadian Olympics happened a couple years ago, and someone somehow got on camera at the Canadian Olympics holding this big sign that said "Ghost Caller promised me a moose." And Warcraft people, took a screen cap of it and kept it for posterity as like Ghost Crawler promised us a moose. And all these years, it's always been, where's our moose? And it even got asked in the Q&As. It's just a thing. And he even left and went to a different company, and it's still, where's the moose? Well, now the moose is Ghostcrawler's Twitter icon. And it's actually more of an elk than a moose because those are pretty big antlers, but it's close enough.
Well, they appear to be flat and palm-like, as a moose would. Isn't it? Elk would possess more antlers, like
Well,
more
elk
antlers in the
are
tradition
huge.
that I think about them. But a moose would have what I would call, at least on the European deer that I'm familiar with, palms,
Hmm.
like spread out.
Hmm.
It looks actually kind of reindeery to me.
Well,
If
it's in
if
that
I had to
family.
nitpick.
Yeah, it's if it's not a moose, if I'm not an elk or a moose or a Canadian or anything, so don't ask me. But people tell me it's a moose elk. I'm not sure, but I'm happy that we're going to finally have this thing because now that we got one of them, we should be get more of them. That would be cool because I want a
Well,
baby moose.
well, we have been corrected by the chat room. Mr. Taz, our chat room's resident Canadian, has has corrected me and told me that is more elk because of the brow tines on the front, or those aren't brow tines because they're actually coming off of his antlers. But the tines on the front going forward indicate elk. So
Taz is one of my close friends, and he is a hunter. So there you go.
there you there you go.
Apparently,
Thank you,
we still
Taz.
do not have our moose. Ghostcrawler, you promised us a moose.
Stop giving us half elk moose creatures.
Oh no, I'll take the elk.
No more milks or uses.
It's
Right?
pretty cool though. So
It's a cool
we're
map.
not going
I
to
don't
turn
care.
it down.
Yeah, let's not try to to overanalyze the fantasy realms moose as compared to ours. Maybe that's an Azerothian moose, which bears little resemblance to the Canadian moose that we're familiar with.
Well, I do wonder about the blue part on the antlers though. I'm not sure what that's about. So when we get to wherever we find mooses, I have no idea if that's even the plural of it, but I still want it though.
Meese,
Uh,
moose, Mises,
whatever it
mooses,
is, yeah. I want to see like a whole bunch of them
moose eye.
in other colors.
Yeah, I'm excited to get him. So then the one pet that I was most excited about was the 2015 BlizzCon pet that was announced, and I just have to say that this is the best. Like, Warcraft has what, over 700? I want to say, is it that high now? Companion pets.
Um, I want to say it was 760 before we went to Tanan, and that
Okay,
added like 250 more. So, and our
so
Canadian expert says that the plural is still moose.
I don't believe I'm going with Meese. I'm making that in America. It's Meese. We're gonna make this happen. I'm leading the Meese revolution. Um, so I don't the exact number of current pets in Warcraft doesn't really matter because there's only one that you need to have, And if you cannot make it to BlizzCon, they are going to be selling a limited amount of virtual tickets that will include the swag bag that you would get at BlizzCon, which will, of course, include this pet. Like, Warcraft can stop. They have made the perfect pet, and that is Murkidon. That's right. Murky / Illidan meshed together. Oh, I love this thing.
I really hope that at some point he's going to squeal, "You're not prepared!" fly up in the air and like sling his blades down. It's
You
gonna
are
be
not
so cool. Well, he's not a Murloc. Well, yeah, actually, he is a Murloc. Never mind.
He is a.
That is cool.
He's a demon Murloc.
No,
With-
Illidan's not a demon. He's just like 3/4 demon.
Okay, he's part demon, part Murloc, and 100% awesome.
It's complicated.
Exactly. It's I'm not doing math. But he's got a glaive. He's got a blindfold. He's got some fell green glow to him. This is just awesome. He's a Murloc demon hunter, and he is about the coolest thing that I've ever seen in my life. So I'm super pumped for that. It's definitely one of the biggest things that I'm pumped about BlizzCon, other than meeting all you fine, fabulous folks that will be out there. But
I bet he double jumps. You just know he's gonna.
oh, that would be so cute. That would be so cute.
Mm-hmm.
So we also had the other bit of news is patch 6.2.2 has hit the PTR.
Lies! Lies, I say.
I know.
Do not be spreading your lies to your loyal listeners, Cuddles.
There
There is no such thing as flight. It's not coming. It's not coming. We were promised a moose. We did not get a moose. We were promised flying. Not gonna happen.
They have said.
You know. You know. Deep down in your heart. You know the truth.
It's flying is now live in the PTR.
I don't believe you. I don't believe it. It can't be true.
Yeah. It's that's
Seriously? It really is.
That's the thing. Flying has been enabled on Draenor for characters that have attained the account-wide achievement.
Which I have. Thank
And
God.
for testing purposes, and this will not be live in the game, but if you're in the PTR, there is the ability to purchase something called a Manual of Rapid Pathfinding from Flaskatar in your garrison that will allow you to just jump right into flying, because of course flying in the PTR isn't about you earning it, it's about them testing it. So
Yes.
of course they want everybody to mount up and go break things. There's still going to be areas I'm going to read this so I get you an exact quote here. Please note that there may still be areas or pockets on Draenor where flying has not yet been fully implemented. These areas will be tracked and listed in a forum thread titled Flight in Draenor Reported Bug Threads on the PTR discussion forum. So, does this mean that 6.2.2 is going to have flying?
I really, really hope so. I am tired
Maybe.
of waiting.
Yeah.
It's been way too long.
I know everyone is ready for it. It's, they told us weeks and it's been, what?
Months.
Yeah. It's definitely, it's one of those funny things. Being in IT, I partly understand what could be the dev's struggle. People think, oh, well, just enable flying. Just let my mount fly around. And it seems like something that they should just be able to do, right? We can fly with Aviana's Feather. We have Goblin gliders that we can kind of get around with. There's a few other mechanics out in the world that launch us up in the air. But it's got to be more complicated than that. And obviously they're struggling with it a little bit. So hopefully we'll see this in 6.2.2. Other than that, there's going to be some new time walking rewards, time walking loot changes, some PvP changes. If you're interested in reading patch notes this far in this editable by the time we actually get them, go over to I'll leave the link in the show notes for the Battle.net 6.2.2 PTR patch notes, and you can read those fully and completely. They are doing a couple things that out in Pandaria. They're removing a couple rep requirements to get some mounts, so that's kind of cool.
Which ones?
And it is specifically the Reigns of the Thundering Ruby Cloud Serpent. And then I thought that there was one more. They're doing a couple changes to the Brazier of Awakening. The Medallion of Legion's only usable in Draenor. A couple other little item like proc fixes. Oh, mounts. They're capping the maximum size amount at 150%. So no more gigantic earth-shattering yaks wandering around Storm Shield.
I kind of like that, actually.
I know, that was so cool. But that's about it for news this week. Let's go ahead and dive into what you are here for and why you have graced us with your amazing and wonderful presence, Miss Alessander. And that is a little bit of lore. And obviously coming into Legion, they're bringing out the Demon Hunter. They're giving us this new area. They're bringing back some old areas. There's class halls. There's new characters. There's a lot of old characters with a lot of stuff happening. A lot of speculation with artifact weapons. All sorts of just myriad of things going on right now. And I got to tell you guys, before she dives into it, I had asked Alessander, hey, well, what do you think about some of the lore stuff? And thinking, she would tweet me and be like, oh, I think the lore stuff is pretty cool, Illidan rocks. Nope. Alessander wrote like a 283
Oh, no, I did tweet
page.
you back, and I said, could you send me your email?
Yes, she actually tweeted me and said, too long for tweet, send email. And then I got a 283 page cross-reference indexed and color-coded binder of lore notes from Alessander. She is nothing if not thorough and comprehensive. And that's what sparked me. Really, I'm reading through them. I'm like, well, I could just, I could read these on the podcast, or, I really want to talk about all. No, forget this. Alessander is coming on the show. She's going to talk about lore. And the first thing that I'd like you to touch upon, Miss Alessander, because being a new player, I kind of understand a little bit of the lore of Illidan. I played him in Heroes. I kind of understand who he is, and he looks really cool. He's also creeping behind me on the live stream. But who is Illidan? Why is he featured so prominently? What is he? Dive in, Miss Alessander.
Well, did you ever play any of the original Warcraft games before the MMO?
No.
Okay. Do you read any of the books?
Yes. I have listened to all of them that are on Audible.
Okay. Illidan is one of these characters that's been around for a really long time. He's been in the Warcraft, he's been in the books. He's a night elf originally, although it's hard to tell these days. But he grew up with Tyrande and Malfurion, who are the leaders of the night elves currently. And they just grew up as like best friends, and then they discovered, girls are pretty. And then, his brother Malfurion was like, yeah, she's really pretty. I'm gonna marry her, and he was like, no, she's gonna marry me. And so they had this love triangle going on for a really long time because they're immortal elves. They have plenty of time for this stuff. But Illidan was always the one that was just not going to sit around and wait his time. He was going to do something about whatever was going on. He's just very active, and he made a lot of mistakes. And I'm not sure of the details of this because I haven't actually read the books, which I need to. But there was a lot of demons running around, and so he was trying to do something about the demons. They shattered the world, and he got these vials of, because they have these moon wells that are like this magical water because they're at the Well of Eternity, which is the fountain of all the magic of all of Azeroth, which is what makes us special, and also is a magnet for the demons to draw them to us, which is, not so good, but we've got the magic, so it's all right. Anyway, he took some vials of these, 7 vials out of the moon well, which he was not supposed to do. And he's had some of them. He used 3 of them to make another moon well, which grew a corrupted tree, which was not a good thing, but he meant well. And that's the problem with Illidan, is that he does a lot of things for a good reason that that just don't work out right. And along the way, in trying to help defeat all these demons, partially I think to kind of impress Tyrande, and partially because it was trying to save the things he knew, and I think partially just because it's just the way he is. Um, I mean, his brother is a druid. He's slept like for 10,000 years. Illidan would never do that. Not of his own volition anyway. So anyway, Illidan just kept making all these mistakes, and eventually it drove Tyrande into marrying Malfurion. And along the way, he kept picking up like all these powers and making deals with people he really shouldn't have, like Sargeras. Sargeras ripped out his eyes and gave him spectral eyes of like this magical, strange things that he can now see. And that's what the blindfold is that he can still see, even though he's got no eyes, because Sargeras gave him eyes. And he was basically the first demon hunter because of all this thing. And that's part of the problem, is because everyone who's not a demon hunter looks at him and says, "You made deals with demons, we're trying to kill them." And he's like, "Yes, but I made the deals with them so that I could get power to destroy them." It's kind of like the warlock argument, except that he went further than the warlocks do, or at least so we like to think. And so he's very misunderstood, but people that played all these games know that he meant well and he just messed up. And it happens. But other people of his kind, the Night Elves, kind of, some of them did agree with him, but most of them just kind of shunned him, like Tyrande and his brother. And so he kind of went into exile and was hanging out more and more with the demons. He made demons deals with, I want to say, Kil'jaeden, and I forget exactly what he did not do for Kil'jaeden that he was supposed to. It was probably betray him. That's why he's known as Illidan the Betrayer, because he kind of has a habit of, like I said, getting close to someone and then betraying them because he needed the power to destroy them, which has not worked out really well for him. And that's why when we got to Burning Crusade, which I never really understood this because I did not know his history when I played through Burning Crusade. He had, I thought he was a demon. He's got horns. He looks like a demon. He's got these giant wings. So I thought we went to Black Temple to kill him because he was a demon like all the other demons, but he's actually a demon hunter, and he had betrayed Kil'jaeden, and so he had this fortress, the Black Temple, to try and protect himself from Kil'jaeden. He was killing the demons to protect himself from Kil'jaeden, and then we heroes rock up and kill him because we did not understand what he was trying to do. And it was also kind of in question about exactly whose side he really was on, that maybe he'd gone a little far, maybe he was a little like corrupted more than he thought he was. We don't really know. There's a lot of people that think they know, like his brother, who's very judgmental about this whole thing. And then you've got Maiev, who was his jailer for like a really long time, but then he escaped, he captured her. She's with you at the end of the Black Temple, and the storyline that leads up to the Black Temple, she's in his prison, and then she gets broken out and she's up there, and they have their big old scene, which is really, really nice. And it's one of my favorite things in World of Warcraft is the voice of Illidan, Liam O'Brien. It's just so good that I don't want to kill him, even though I want his loot. So it's like in my head when I'm RPing, it's like, okay, now that they've left Illidan, just give me your stuff and I'll just say that I killed you and you just like fly away and nobody will know the difference. It's okay, don't worry about it. So I don't want to kill him, but you gotta just get the loot. So in my head, I RP that I don't actually kill him. So yeah, be free, Illidan, be free.
Nice. So, wow, like that fills in a lot of the gaps of my knowledge of this big demon guy with glaives.
Yeah,
Now,
if you want to know the really in-depth thing, Noble did Noble 87. He did a really long thing about Illidan, I think, this week, and demon hunters in general. And there is one other thing, is that the whole Shadowmoon area of the old BC is basically Illidan and his people, and the people that are trying to fight him. And people have asked this about why can't I be an orc demon hunter? Well, the reason is because he was a night elf. He had night elves. The blood elves came to him. Um, not Kathlas. Yeah, Kathlas.
Yep.
And he was trying to help. He had worked with Illidan before. Illidan basically tried to kill the Lich King at one point as well, because seriously, he is on our side. He was trying to kill the Lich King, and then we messed it up. But long story short. So anyway, Kael'thas was like, we want to do these too. I mean, we want to fight the demons as well. But, why won't you train us? And he's like, no, not going to train you guys. You guys are too weak. And Kael'thas just kept insisting. So finally Illidan said, fine, send me 5 guys. And, he didn't think they were going to make it. In fact, he made sure that they wouldn't. And 3 of them died. 1 of them went insane. 1 of them actually lived through the whole experience. And because that one actually made it through the hardest training that Illidan could possibly devise, he actually allowed the Blood Elves to come train as demon hunters. There's not a lot of them, and there's a lot less now. But that is why it can only be Night Elves and Blood Elves. No pandas, no orcs, none of that. At least at this time. There is in lore, I saw a reference to one guy who is a human, may or may not be a demon hunter. I'm not sure. I didn't really read up on it. But Night Elves, Blood Elves. That's all you got.
Okay, now that makes a little bit more sense.
Yeah, it kind of does. Blizzard does a lot of things for story purposes that, in a game like this, in theory, they should just everybody could be a demon hunter, but there is a story reason for a lot of the stuff that they do, and you may not know the story, but oftentimes there is one somewhere that will explain something. At least for a while. Eventually they may change their mind or change the story. Like, the original story is that we killed Illidan, and the revised story is that Maiev took his body and put it in the prison and has been watching over it, which makes no sense at all, but that's the story we've got now.
Retcon rarely does, but that's, we'll go back and change the story from then to match it now. And, you're in Broken Isles now. Enjoy.
Not likely. But yeah, we'll find out more about this story literally when we get to 7.0. It's just going to be a while.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and with the way that they're releasing information, we may find out about a little bit more before then. Now, you have a couple opinions about Gul'dan as well. Do you want to? Are you ready to kick this guy in the teeth? Are you ready? Like, what are you thinking about Gul'dan and vanquishing him at some point?
I have a lot. I write a lot of emails to a lot of podcasts, and partly it's because I think about things when there's nothing else to do in WoW, and it's kind of like a tinfoil hat with the lore, because I really like the story, and so I'm trying to figure out how the story is working if we don't have all the pieces, which has been a big problem with the Draenor expansion. And Gul'dan is front and center. So I have a lot of Gul'dan theories and ideas in my head. And the lead one is that that's not Gul'dan, because from the very start, before we saw him in play, when he was we knew he was going to be in the expansion because we'd been told that. We hadn't actually seen him do anything yet. Ann Stickney and Matt Rossi over at Blizzard Watch were talking endlessly about how amazing Gul'dan is, how he's just so smart and he's deceitful, and he's this master charisma guy that can talk anyone into anything. Even people that know exactly what he is and desperately want to kill him, he can still somehow, someone makes the fatal, why should I not just kill you right now? And he's like, well,
I'm glad you asked.
Yes, I'm glad you asked, because if you let me live, how about I make death knights for you? I'll take soldiers that are like spirits, and I'll put them in swords, and then orcs, and it'll be fantastic. These undead warriors that are powerful and serving you. Wouldn't that be better than killing me? And he's like, yeah, I could. I kind of would like some immortal, powerful warriors that, all right, you can live. Make me some death knights, And that did not end well for anybody except for Gul'dan. And that's the way Gul'dan is and should be. But ever since Draenor, he's been. I mean, the very first time you see him, he's strung up inside of a bubble being used as like a battery to power the Dark Portal, which uh, is strange. And then, of course, you got the whole, what will this cost me if I drink? Everything. That was not, everyone knows that was the stupid thing to say. It's like, nothing at all. Drink,
It's fine.
Hellscream.
It tastes like strawberries. Enjoy.
It's Mountain Dew. It's good for you.
Here, I brought you a strawberry smoothie. Enjoy. Oh,
Yes.
whoops. Demon blood.
So, it's from the very start. This Gul'dan, for whatever reason, has not been acting like Gul'dan should. Every time he should say something that's a lie or something, he's not doing it. So I started to wonder about that because, the theory about the Gul'dan, not the Khadgar suit, who is really Khadgar. It's probably Medivh. I mean, it's got to be Medivh. I mean, come on, look at the thing. But so I started to wonder.
Are we throwing out the theory of Khadgar actually being Chris
Being
Metzen in a
Khadgar?
Thrall suit?
Nah,
Okay, so that's not
Chris
a,
Metzen
okay.
is Thrall, so we already sorted that one out
Okay.
a couple expansions ago. but it's everybody was focused on who is Khadgar, and I started thinking, well, maybe we're asking the wrong question. Who is Gul'dan? And I think it is Gul'dan's body. But see, when Medivh died, Khadgar was there, and so was Gul'dan, because Gul'dan was in this like mental three-way in Medivh's head, trying to steal the information to the Tomb of Sargeras, where it was located, because he didn't know, but he wanted to find out. And so Sargeras was in Medivh's mind, Gul'dan was in Medivh's mind, Khadgar was physically there stabbing him along with Lothar. See the movie next year, you'll understand better then. So all these people were there, Medivh got killed, Sargeras, though we were told, vanished into the vapor, into the Twisted Nether. But what if he didn't? Because Gul'dan was right there. And the Gul'dan of his timeline of our original Azeroth was still around. It's so complicated with this whole Draenor thing. But what if Sargeras, just a little part of him, not even all of it, because not all of him was in Medivh anyway. So what if this part of Sargeras that was in Medivh needing like a new host just kind of like went over into Gul'dan? That's my theory anyway. Totally means nothing, but since you asked. So anyway, we've got Gul'dan who's acting weird, but he's running around, he's doing all this stuff. I forget what the question was.
I don't remember
sorry.
either.
It
Bad
was something about
podcast host.
Gul'dan.
We just dove headfirst into a pool of Gul'dan, and I loved it.
Yeah, well, he's doing something, and I don't really understand what he's doing, and that's part of my problem with Legion is that I know what should be going on, but I don't understand what we've been told. And
Yeah.
maybe we'll find out in the story, but we did not find out in the story of Draenor things that we should have known, like why are we exactly attacking Heimal? Why exactly are we killing like the bog monster in Heimal that's actually attacking them? Why are we killing things that are attacking the orcs that we're here to kill? Why should we just, let it get on with it? There was all these little things that if you're just like a raider that's just here to kill things, it's just a mechanic. You don't really care about why you're killing, this bog monster. It's just there to kill. It's got loot, so you kill it. But story-wise, not all this stuff makes sense to me, and so I'm trying to figure it all out. And Legion's really difficult for me because we don't have enough information yet.
Well,
And what we do know, it's not making a whole lot of sense, and it's just, there's so much there. Like this whole, if it was as simple as the Burning Legion's coming, we're going to kill the Burning Legion. And that's another thing. You cannot kill the Burning Legion because they're just going to go back to the Twisted Nether and come right back through the gate, because that's the way it works. Now that's what we've been told. Is all these demons we've killed over the years, they just went back through the gate, and now they're just coming back through anyway. So the only way we're going to defeat the Burning Legion is not to stay here and defeat them. We're going to have to go through into the Twisting Nether and just start killing everybody. If we're going to beat the Burning Legion, this expansion, next expansion, I don't know. that's what we're going to have to do. And they
Yep.
did not tell us that in their announcement. I don't know why, but that's the only way we're going to do it. We can close the portal. They're just going to make another one again.
Yeah. But maybe that's the wrap up for this X-Pack and leaves the door open. You know, that's there to be continued. Or, you know, we'll see what happens next week. Version of the, you know, we shut down the portal, yay, and maybe something story-wise about hampering or thinking that we've taken away their capability to reopen a portal.
No,
But
somebody
then in like
somewhere's
4
gonna
X
always
packs, it
reopen it for them.
reopens, and you know we're back killing demons again.
Yeah.
Um,
So, and you know, I'm fine with killing demons. I think they're very interesting, or can be very interesting. And that's something else, is that you need to have villains that you know, that you have a story with, and that you actually feel something for. Like Garrosh, we all wanted to kill Garrosh because he made himself such a bright pain that you wanted to kill him. Same with Arthas. You know, a really good villain makes you want to kill him. Nobody really cared all that much about Deathwing. I mean, seriously, we just wanted the loot. And it's kind of... There's a strong feeling about that with this expansion that I'm not feeling it yet. Like, they're dangling all these threats in front of us. Like, here, have some Titans. Here, have some Druid stuff. Oh, you want some Emerald Dream? Yeah, we got that. Yeah, here's Naga. It's everything. Literally, I don't know if I told you this, but I had this thing that I thought we were going to be doing Greymane versus Sylvanas.
yep.
Return to Gildeas, and we were gonna like fight over Silverpine and like have this big old battle, Horde versus Alliance, back in the way it used to be. And you know what? That's in the expansion too. Seriously. Everybody's theory, except for the whole pirate thing in the South Seas, is in this expansion that's coming. Everything is there.
Yeah,
So
this definitely seemed like, I've heard this term repeatedly throughout the community, a fan service expansion. Like they
really
said,
is.
here you want, like they came out with Warlords. Warlords was critically, or I guess community widely viewed as not a rip-roaring success.
And that makes no sense to me because Blizzard excels with this kind of thing.
Yeah.
When they
They're
do
not
it right,
bad
they
at what
do it
they do.
amazing. They've
Yeah.
built their reputation on this kind of thing, and they've got a huge stock of really super interesting characters from all the way back in the Warcraft days. And they've been killing a lot of them off over the years, that's true. But they haven't killed them all off just yet.
Nope.
But we're going to be, I mean, once you've got to the Titan level, I mean, we're going to be carting around artifacts. That's above legendary.
Yeah. Well, and
So,
let's
Where do you go from that?
let's touch on that since you just brought up artifacts. That was one thing that I really wanted to hit tonight.
Okay.
And so artifact weapons. There's Gorehowl, there's Ashbringer.
That's legendary. Well, that's... Gorehowl's not on the list.
Okay.
Ashburner's on the list. Fellow Malorn's on the list.
There you go.
Frostworn. A whole bunch of others. There's a new spear for the shaman that nobody's heard of. We've got 36 legendaries, artifacts coming. It's going to be hard to not call them legendaries. We got 36 of these things coming, and not all of them are true artifacts. They're some of them that have no history. They're being created for us.
Yeah, they're going to have to make some up because there's just
Yeah.
not that many named weapons.
They cannot kill
in the lore.
36 like epic heroes
Well,
just to like hand us a weapon.
And that's what I want to touch on is everyone's, oh, well, who's going to die to give us their weapon? Who are they going to whack to get us these things? And who do you think? And do you think, let me part B that question with, do they have to necessarily kill them?
No.
Or is there a story or lore based way that Thrall can hand us his hammer and
Yes.
still be Thrall.
Yes. They have said, and this is vague, heroes we have lost and who have lost hope. Heroes we have lost could mean that they're dead. It could also mean that 20 demons like tackled Thrall like a football scrum, and Thrall going down under all these demons said, take my hammer, keep it safe, shaman dude, um, and then throws you the hammer, and the demons drag him away, and he's lost to us, and we'll find him later. That's one way to do it. I don't really like the idea of just killing off a character just to make like a dramatic statement, because to do it on the very first day of the expansion, it's not even in the expansion, it's a pre-launch event. Is we land on the shores and we have this giant D-Day fight, and it goes really super badly for us. And then we pick up the pieces, we pick up the artifacts, we make our class orders, and then the actual expansion will come, and that's when we roll back into town. So to kill Thrall, Thrall's you may not understand this because Thrall's been around a really long time, and people are kind of, some people love him, some people are just like completely over him and don't care, don't want to see his face anymore. And he's had a very checkered history, and I understand both sides of it. When he's written well, he's he's like you saw on the cinematic with Garrosh.
Yep.
He's a strong character with really good things, and he's got like a lot of history behind him, and he can be used well. He's not always been used well, and that's the problem. So we might lose Thrall. We may lose him for good. We don't know.
Yeah.
Tyrion.
Even as a new player, it's not hard to recognize the importance and feel the weight of what Thrall is, even though I may not fully comprehend it, having not gone through 10 years of Warcraft fanhood and lore, and having been with him that long, I still feel how important he is. And having read, he plays a very important role in a lot of the books.
The basic quick history of Thrall is that when the orcs came through, he was a baby. We had this long fight with the Alliance. That's basically going to be the movie next year. Thrall grew up in an internment camp as a gladiator, broke free, freed all the orc slaves that were being held in the containment camps. Somehow got them all over to Kalimdor, settled up the orcs in a new place, away from all the humans and all the people that had been trying to imprison them all these years. And so that's why he's the leader of the Horde, because while they were trying to find a way to get away from all these humans, he found the Tauren and all these other people and like brought them into the Horde. And that's how the Horde formed, is because of Thrall. And that's why Thrall was the first war chief. He set up Orgrimmar. He named practically everything. Orgrimmar is named after Orgrim Doomhammer. Durotan is Durotar. It's all because of Thrall. That's why Thrall is I don't know, he's like, Green Jesus, Moses. He's like that kind of iconic character. And then he decided to go all shamany and got Agra, and then he had a child, and it was just like weird stuff that started going on in his storyline. And he stepped down, Garrosh stepped in, and yeah. But anyway, that's the basic history of Thrall. But the thing is that you've got other heroes like Tyrion Fordring, who, back in the original part of the Plaguelands that doesn't exist anymore, he was this crazy old guy that lived in a hut and was the only guy that was trying to get rid of the Scourge all by himself. He had this legendary sword, but he just lived out there by himself like this paladin that everyone thought was just nuts and laughed at. And he was trying to take on the Scourge all by himself. And so you went out and you did some quests for him, and he was a little crazy. I'll admit it, but he was really kind of noble because he was the only one that was trying. Then of course we did the Wrath of the Lich King, and he like went off and did this whole Argent tournament thing. It was just so weird, but I remember Tyrion back back when I was collecting worms for him to eat because he had this thing for the worm steaks. Don't ask me why, but that was what the dude wanted, and if he was gonna be this, then I was okay with that. So I got him a bunch of worm steaks. But people don't remember the old Tyrion. They only remember the Argent Tournament and like the whole Wrath of the Lich King end scene, like killing the Arthas and all that. I don't want him to go just so that we can get a sword or the Ashbringer, and we're not even gonna keep the Ashbringer because we're gonna like start turning it into like this blade of fire or lightning or something, because having a this epic weapon like a legendary artifact weapon isn't good enough for us.
Nope,
Doomhammer.
we gotta
Doomhammer. It's not enough for us. We've got to like do all this crazy fancy stuff to it to make it like it's extra special. Who are we to have like I that's just not good enough for me. I'm gonna stick all this other stuff on it because to make it glow or something. It's just
I want
wrong.
Doomhammer, but I want it to glow purple.
I'll admit the new looks look amazing, but I would rather have just like the guy that made the Doomhammer or made the Ashbringer make me something like the Ashbringer and call it Sootbringer. I don't care. And have that one have all the lightning and the fire and the real amazing cool effects. And have Ashbringer stay Ashbringer because Ashbringer is like super special. And so is Doomhammer. And it's I like the lore and I really like the story. That's why I play WoW. It's because it's such a fascinating storyline that they've got. And to kill off something forever that has so much potential to it and has not lived up to its potential, it just seems like it's wrong.
Yeah. Well, let's touch on one more thing here.
Okay.
And that's I'd like to talk about what you think's going to happen, because you mentioned this in your email about Varian. Are we going to lose Varian? If we lose Varian, what happens next? Is Anduin, we got this new buff, like I think I've heard the term Manduin coined somewhere.
No. Anduin is 18, 19 tops. He's a priest for Lord's sake. Anduin
for the sake of the light.
Yeah. I like Anduin. I think he's great. But this world of Warcraft is a very dark and gritty place where horrible things happen. Anduin is not prepared at all for this world. He's seen a lot of it in Pandaria, but he did not fully grasp it. And then he kept away from Draenor.
He didn't have like the gladiator experience that Varian Logosh went through.
Exactly. Now, if we lost Varian is the glue that holds the Alliance together. Nobody else has it. He was just the one that kind of like Thrall grabbed all these races and pulled them together to be the Horde. Varian did the same at that time for the Alliance. He brought the elves in, kept the dwarves in the coalition. He reunited all the humans that were left after the First War. Varian's the guy. Without him, they probably will still kind of stick around, but not necessarily, because the dwarves have got their mountains, the elves are off doing their own thing. It's just, the gnomes will stick around wherever the dwarves do, but you still need that glue, and I don't think it's going to be Anduin because he's not a leader yet. He has not had that tempering that a leader needs, and putting him in charge and like letting that be his temper is not a good idea. He's going to make way too many mistakes, which is good for the story, but they've got so many capable leaders around. They're bringing Muradin back, changing him out of his old like weird diamond form, that whatever that was about. And so we've got Muradin. I don't really want Muradin to lead. I've got nothing against him, but I want Tyrande to lead. I want Yrel back. I want Yrel to be leading the Draenei. I don't know, Velen like prophecy a heart attack or whatever. And that's another thing. We're fighting the freaking Burning Legion. The Draenei should be like standing right up here, They should be the ones that's like, I sensed the burning legion. I had a dream. You know, not Khadgar. It should be Velen. This is Velen's literally his life work. For I don't know, 50,000 years they've been running for these people. He should know, if anybody should, the burning legion are here, because that's what he does. But anyway, I think it should be Tyrande, or I think it should be Yrel, or maybe even Moira, because we need some more females on our loading screen. And Tyrande is kind of mercurial, but she is a leader. And if she just gets rid of that druid of hers, I mean, seriously, chicken feet? No, I don't think so. So she just got rid of him. I mean, really, hush, Tyrande? I mean, really? Where did that come from? Anyway, sorry, but really, hush, Tyrande? Come on. Anyway, so you got Tyrande. I love Tyrande. She's like amazing. I play her in Heroes. So you got Tyrande. She has the potential to be a very good leader. She is a war character. She's got like a bow. She's not like all peaceful light like Anduin. She's a military character. Moira did a really good job in Pandaria as working with Varian, leading. Like they went on the scenario together. She's had a child. She's like not a little girl anymore. She has potential to be a good leader. We just haven't seen enough of her. Yrel, I mean, come on, we know Yrel. Yrel would be great. And she would bring the Draenei together and bring the Draenei into this. And there's so much Yrel could do, but we're just going to leave her behind? I mean, yeah, we kind of always do, but Yrel should come with us. I mean, really, Yrel should come with us.
Well, and we have another big character in Jaina we've already been told that she is left pissed off.
Yeah.
And you know what's going on with Jaina?
I think
what's
Jaina
gonna happen
is
with
jacked
that?
up with those blue dragons because
she went for some Netflix and cuddle time with Galagos.
I don't know. I think she may be trying to get away from Calicos. I don't know, but I think because she's all about the magic. Burning Legion's all about collecting the magic as well. So it makes sense that maybe she knows something about Khadgar that we don't know. Maybe we'll figure it out. I don't know, but I think she has to go somewhere. So I think she probably would have gone to those blue dragons. They're not gonna like Calicos all that much, and I don't like Calicos all that much myself. But whatever. Jaina's judgment has never been that good. She's definitely not a leader. She's like the worst leader possible. I would rather have Anduin lead than have Jaina.
Jeez. That is a
She has
harsh...
made no good decisions ever in her life.
Well,
I'll send you an email about it. Just remind me.
She didn't totally destroy Orgrimmar, so I mean there was that. Does that count? No.
No. I'll send you an email about
Not killing someone isn't actually a good decision because you actually were thinking about killing them in the first place.
Okay, here's her. Okay, her first bad decision was sleeping with Arthas, and nearly getting knocked up. I mean, her second bad decision was allowing an assassin to assassinate her father because she thought that was going to lead to eternal peace. Newsflash, did not.
Whoops. Sorry, Dad.
It got slightly better from there, but not by a whole lot. She's never had. She's a nice person. She's very powerful. She's very nice. She could really use some tempering, and tempering does not mean going all crazy Jaina. That's I don't know what's going on with writers in Blizzard that
Crazy Jaina.
They do not know how to do anything with Jaina except for cry
and go totally crazy.
And go crazy. Sylvanas, at least, if she's gonna go crazy, she's gonna do it in style, and it's gonna be a sight to behold. And I'm okay with that. Although let's not get out ahead of ourselves and kill Sylvanas because she's pretty awesome. So
yeah. And one of their more popular Heroes of the Storm characters right now. So
yes.
I wonder how much that factors in to, and maybe it doesn't at all, but you know, maybe that factored a little bit into even story making decisions. Hey, this is a hugely popular character over here. Maybe we don't kill them off, or maybe we do, and it makes them even more popular. I don't know.
Well, I thought about that. It's like, isn't there a skid for Thrall that's like a red Horde version? Not a Horde version, but a Burning Legion skin for Thrall over in Heroes?
I don't know. I never play Thrall.
Okay.
I
Somebody I
only
thought
play
told me that there
Murky.
was.
And if they don't give me a Murkidon skin, I'm gonna cry.
Well, maybe he'll have like a blindfold and some horns, but I thought somebody said there was a red thrall, like a demonic thrall. In which case, that's kind of why I thought that maybe he would get captured by the Legion and like brainwashed into being like this red demonic thrall that was really cool skin for heroes. But I don't know. We don't know.
Well, I think there's some stuff over there. Well, there's definitely some stuff heroes wise with the skins that just is just fan service. Like Gazlo and his clown tank thing, like Big Top Gazlo. I don't think we have any threat of seeing goblins wandering around in circus themed. Like that's probably not going to happen in the next WoW expansion.
Probably not, but
But it's cool. It's cool fan service over in the Heroes of the Storm side of things.
yeah.
So
There's
let
another
me.
thing that they mentioned in the dev chat, and I don't think anybody's really picked up on it, but they specifically said that um, we're going to be surprised and shocked. The world is on fire, and we are going to bring peace because the Alliance and the Horde are at each other's throats. And we have to challenge the Legion before Azeroth's last hope dies. Now, my question about this is, okay, the world is on fire, Alliance and Horde are at each other's throats. I'm assuming that's the whole Greymane Sylvanas thing, but we don't know because we're not at each other's throats for anything right now.
Yeah.
So that's going to be something in the pre-launch. And the world is on fire because of that? That seems a little extreme. And then you've got the whole like, okay, what did they mean the world is on fire? And there was, I think, Burning Crusade had that intro movie, the cinematic, where the demons are just like dropping out of the sky, those big earth elemental dudes. But that says the world is on fire, not like a little bit of it or like a zone here and there.
Yeah.
And Cataclysm already like really ruined like a lot of the Azeroth that I love.
Oh.
And if they're going, because when we did the intro to Draenor, it's still there. It was not like we did for previous expansions, like Cataclysm, where the intro stuff was only there for like a month and then it went away and has not been back. So if they're gonna turn the entire old world of Azeroth into like Tanan jungle with piles of fell ooze everywhere, and basically make it all horrible and barren and yucky, I'm really not gonna like that at all. I can stand it for a couple of weeks, but not permanently. And challenge the Legion before Azeroth's last hope dies. Who is Azeroth's last hope? Is it Thrall? Is it Illidan? Is it Anduin? We don't know. I mean, it should be Tyrion, because he's a paladin. This is like his life's work. I mean, from all the way back in the Plaguelands, he created the Silver Hand just for this. You go to Caverns of Time. There's Escape from Durnhold. He's there. If you go to the village, South Shore,
Yep.
and you sit in the inn, they'll start up a cycle where a bunch of them come in and have a secret meeting. And then you do the Death Knight thing at the Light Soap Chapel at the end of the Death Knight thing. There's so much that's there. And maybe Tyrion is the last hope. I think he should be. I don't think that he's gonna be. I don't know what is, but I don't think he's gonna be. I think he should be. And that's one of my problems with Legion. Because you asked me once why I was not so excited as everybody else is. And it's because of the story that it should make sense. And I don't feel it's making sense. And I feel bad about that because I think the story of Warcraft for a long, long time has been amazing. It's been a great story. And I would like it to continue that way. But I've been burned once, and I was a little singed with Draenor. I don't know what to think. But I know I spoke with Craig Amai over on Twitter, who's a lead quest developer, and he wrote all the stuff I love in Draenor. All the stuff, well, not he, but he and his team. All the leveling stuff from 90 to, Nagrand. That was all him and his team. And I think that was like the best stuff in Draenor myself. And I don't know anybody that's really had a bad word to say about it. It was a really good story. The overall story may have been missing, but the zone story
Oh yeah.
was very good, and that gives me hope for Legion. I'm not excited yet because I don't really know much about it enough to be excited, but I know that they've given us 6 zones that we're going to be leveling through. And I'm pretty sure, even though each zone has like a freaking weird thing, it's like, why are the Titans involved? I don't know, but they're here and like Naga over there, but. And so the overall story may not make any more sense than it did in Draenor, but that specific zone story, I'm sure it's going to be pretty good and it's going to hold me and I'm going to be satisfied with that at least. I am expecting that. There might be some details that I'm kind of like, like I really don't think that Thrall should die. If he does die, it should not be in a pre-launch thing. It should be like a really epic cinematic. It's like like an end battle against like an amazing boss.
Yeah, and not gated to a level of content.
Yeah.
Slight. This is the rare amount of sodium that you'll see out of me, but them gating cinematics behind mythic content doesn't feel right to me. When 99.8% of their community will never actually see it other than on YouTube.
Well, that's another thing is that they've had figures that they tell us, and 50% of people that play WoW don't raid at all.
Yeah.
And
they've tried, LFR's in there to be tourist mode to get people in to see raid content
and they still
that maybe
won't
don't
go.
raid. And yeah, and they're still not. Well, I think LFR's become what it's become, and people now don't want to be in there. You hear people constantly complaining about having to go in there for quests or for the legendary or for
or collecting 900 fragments, like 18 at a time.
Yeah.
I mean, that's ridiculous, and I'm sorry.
No,
that's wrong. That's bad questing and bad storytelling because there's no story in that. That's just punishing you for playing the game.
Well, I think it's their. I think they tried. They tried something, and by all accounts, it did not work. Now, I think when
they have done that in every single expansion, many times. Where go out and get me a whole bunch of these things that's going to take you weeks to get because you have no choice. You can run it every week, and it's going to give you exactly this much, maybe.
Yeah.
It's like the tomes; it may not even drop for you. So.
Well, that's where I was at today in Timeless Isle for the first time. I was going out there to do the Celestial Pet Tournament, and that's what that is. It's go out and do these same 3 pet battles over and over and collect these things and get these things to use the other thing, and it's content. It's there. It serves a purpose.
But it's not fun content. It's content that you have to do, and even if you don't have to do it, you feel you have to do it. Like my friends this week. We went, like we always go, and we do the Apexis thing with the Saberon and Fangri-La, and then we do Kil'jaeden to get the rest of the Apexis, and we've got one person left in our little group that's not quite up to having the flight yet. But that's like, 2 hours of our lives sitting there getting all this stuff done. And it was, not bad. We're a nice little fun group and all that, but it was a chore. And we got the chore done. And then we went off and we had fun, and Taz got a mount, and it was laughing, and we had a really good time.
Yeah.
Once we finished all the stuff we had to do, that was not fun. And it should have been fun. Or it should not have been there. But it's always there. They always do this to us.
I will not to... I acknowledge and appreciate the validity of everything that you are saying. Let me make that clear. I don't want to...
I'm not a developer, though.
No. I don't want to... I want to make it clear that I'm not arguing. But let me pose an alternate position on it.
Mm-hmm.
And let me preface it with asking you this question.
Okay.
How many hours a week do you play WoW?
50?
Okay.
40, 50? Less
50
lately because
hours.
it's less lately because I'm so tired of it all
Yeah.
that
Well,
the
let's
second that I got Pathfinder, I, I took like a week off and didn't even log in at all.
well
I,
let's
I play Second Life now,
let's
or I play
call it
Heroes.
let's call it 40 hours.
Okay.
40
Way too
hours
many hours, okay? Let's leave it at that.
40 hours a week for an X pack that's going to say it lasts 12 months. How much I know that some of these things get grindy and they feel like, oh, I have to go spend 2 hours doing this because I have to do this thing. The amount of actual, like, if they were going to have some sort of questing or some sort of different content from a development standpoint, the amount of content that it would take to create 40 hours a week of
Not
content
true. Okay,
for a
sorry. I
year.
want to interrupt.
I just I with the amount of time that we spend in this world, I would argue that there has to be some sort of grindy mechanic. No, it does not have to be something. It does not have to be a legendary. It does not have to be but there has to be a something that you have to go and do. You have to have a thing to go do, and at some point, some of those things, I think, become grindy.
Okay.
Now you do not agree.
No. Here's my list of the other things that I do when I'm not grinding. I do pet battles. I wander around and just fly around because I like to look at the landscape. I teleport around. I hang out with my friends doing nothing. I ran ICC tonight because a friend of mine in my guild needed to do an achievement. And then we just kind of kept going and cleared the Lich King. I'm running Karazhan as we speak for no reason. I don't need anything here.
Cool. If you get anything fun, just mail it to Cuddles. Um,
But no, they have more content than I can finish. Um, I don't need to be grinding something like that. Uh, Flight, they wanted us to experience everything,
yeah.
but they did not make it so that we wanted to experience everything. And that was the problem that I had with the Flight and the Pathfinder. Because if they had made the content so that I wanted to finish all the story and collect all the treasures and get all the reps, I would have done it without needing to be forced to it. And a lot of people did it. They basically had everything except for those 3 reps. And for them, the content was what they wanted and what they needed. For me, I, I was kind of lacking on some pieces. And so it became a thing I had to do, not a thing I wanted to do.
See, and there's I would say the big challenge in development is you're never going to create content that feels great to everyone.
But
And
with the artifact,
how
they
many
have
flavors of content can you realistic development at some point is a container. You have a certain amount of things to take out of that container, being hours in the day from conception to realization. And when you're out of hours of the day in that container, you're out. You can't create any more content. The Warlords of Draenor is on people's computer. Yeah, you can add stuff, but I mean the massive, thing is there, and I don't. I guess it's not. I don't even know that we're standing on different sides of the same point. I agree that, yeah, maybe the way that they implemented it was not at all the best, and there
well,
are a lot of options, but
they've actually addressed this with the artifact. Is in order to unlock all those slots and the abilities that are in the weapon, they've got tons of ways that you can get it. We don't know what those ways are just yet, but I made a list today. It's like maybe defeating a dungeon boss, getting explorer, getting all the as you finish a zone storyline. There's so many things we could do. Winning like 50 pet battles. there are many, many ways that they have made it so that we will be able to fill up all those slots on our Ashbringer, Doomhammer, whatever it is we get. It's not all about like collecting crystals or one thing you got to do anymore or doing a
Yeah.
bunch of dailies or reputation. It's not tied to any of that. It's tied to all of them. We have choice, and I am delighted by that. I think that is the amazing, because if I don't feel like doing LFRs, then I'll just pet battle my way to filling up my sword or whatever I get. Actually, I'm gonna get a gun because I'm a hunter. But they're giving us the choice, and that's the important part. If if instead of grinding out 900 of these crystals from running Foundry to get the tablets, if we'd had the option to uh, get them from pet battles or get them from looting like mines or something like that, if we'd had other ways we could do it, we do have the garrison, which
Yeah.
is a great help.
And
But
I
more options are
garrisoned
better.
I garrisoned my elemental runes. Or not when it goes elemental rune or abrogator stones, elemental runes, and then tomes, I think. I might be getting this confused. But anyway, I garrisoned all of other than the amount that I was in the raid content. I mean, to be fair, we feel and we're while we are the very vocal part of the community, I don't know that we're representative of the
Oh, I know I'm not.
average WoW player. Because I mean, to be realistic, yeah, okay, it's super annoying going out there, and or maybe let me rephrase that. It's not incredibly enjoyable to go out and grind this rep, this rep, this rep, this rep each day. And I know that there's people that are doing that, or to go have to do a full clear of LFR as well as your rating for the week, so you can get all the tombs that you need, or all the tomes that you need, so that you can get your legendary ring as fast as possible. The reality of it is, for the casual player, they go and they pick a daily, and it's today it's Throne of Kil'jaeden, and tomorrow it's something else. For me, before I was raiding, the Apexis dailies in my garrison didn't really annoy me because I did them when I wanted to do them. And they all seem to be like in a different... Now, like the fifth time that I went out to the little Dragon Roost place, yeah, it started to get boring. And I was kind of over it. So maybe I'm defeating my own argument here.
Well, they
But,
did give us options. Like we could get it through the flowers and the mining and stuff.
yeah, I feel
And
like
that's all I want,
our
is-
own overconsumption of content, which, let's be honest, no game is ever going to produce enough content for 40 hours a week for a solid year in
Not
one
true,
expansion.
It
What-
has to be a sandbox game with player-created content because one
Oh.
company cannot do it.
They-
But we'll
indeed,
never
and
get that from Blizzard. It's not that
yeah,
kind of a game.
that is not WoW. And asking
Yes.
WoW to be that would then destroy what it is.
Yes, and I don't want that. But
You don't
I
want
said 50%
you want Second
of
WoW
people
life
have
too?
never raided. I love Second Life. It's great. It is a sandbox, and I really enjoy sandboxes. Like I watched Sloop play The Witcher for hours because it was so much fun to watch him because it's such a sandbox world. But anyway, 50% of people don't raid, but 50% do, and they're perfectly fine with, well, at least tolerant of, fetch me 900 crystals to make 3 tablets to,
Yeah, even if you're not grinding that, you're gonna get it just
Yeah.
organically. And for the players that aren't raiding, is that even important? Do they need a 710,
It's a little bit
legendary
of peer
ring that does
pressure.
something in a raid?
It's a little bit of peer pressure, and it's a little bit of, like, I want my weapon to be just as sparkly as everybody else's weapon. There's a little bit of that.
True,
Yeah.
true, and I get that. I sometimes feel that, and it does not at all invalidate the criticism, but I sometimes feel that the very vocal, especially the podcast community, and myself among them.
Yes. We run out of things to say.
we're-
So we have to
we're-
make up things to say.
Well, and we're critical of things that we're such over-consuming, like, under the microscoping wow, that, oh, well, I really don't like that I have to do this 15 times every week. And you look at the average WoW player that maybe doesn't even log in 15 times in 2 weeks. And, you know,
That's
I log
heresy
in,
pedals.
I wake up 30 minutes early before I go to work so I can get on, do my garrison chores, send out my shipyard missions, and maybe do the the daily pet battle and get that banged out. So when I come home, I can do my dailies and do my raiding, and that's like, I will admit that is because I love and exuberant about and really enjoy this game. But I also wouldn't argue with somebody if they sat down and looked at me and said, that's kind of sick. Um, it's a lot of gaming, and it leads to overconsumption of anything can lead to, while not invalid but maybe unwarranted criticism. And I don't know. I think WoW did a great job with this expansion. I have nothing else to compare it to.
Parts of the Blizzard team did an amazing job.
But
I have nothing but the kindest things to say about Craig Amaya and his team, and I tell him so at least once a week.
Oh, well, let's go ahead and wrap this up. We are running.
Can I just say one more thing?
Oh no, I was actually going to ask you. Do you have any final thoughts, Miss Alessander?
I have quite a few, but I'll try and be brief. Okay. I play because my friends are here and I really like my friends. My friends are also in my guild. I chose my guild because I like these people and I want to hang out with them. I don't want to hang out with a bunch of people I don't know just because we happen to both be playing hunters or mages or death knights, whatever. That's not why I chose the class, and I don't want to hang out with people I don't know. I want to hang out with people I chose to hang out with. I want a guild hall, not a class hall.
Ooh.
That's one thing. I don't think we need to have a lot of the things that are going to be in Legion have so much potential content to them that they could easily have been their own expansion easily. And some of them are going to be like chopped down into a 5-man dungeon or a raid or one zone. And maybe that will lead into the next expansion where like we'll have like the Naga zone here, and the next expansion will be like the Naga Empire, like branching off from this. Maybe, I don't know. We'll not know for another 2 years. But I don't think we needed all this content because the basic story of fighting the Legion is fine. We don't need to have Titans in this for no reason. We don't need to have Naga in here because Naga are with the old gods. That's not with the Burning Legion. We don't need to have that. Save that for like its own expansion, like next time. We don't need that. We're gonna get it, and like I said, the story will be fine. Maybe even be amazing. But it's muddying the story. We did not need this. And also, Demon Hunters, when I first saw you, I thought, why is Final Fantasy in my WoW video? I'm sorry. I was looking at that, is like he's carrying this Ashbringer, he's got the Final Fantasy hair, and all I could think of was, that's why is Final Fantasy here? It's just a thing. I can't help it. I'm sorry. I'll play a Demon Hunter eventually, because the story I'm sure is going to be completely amazing and epic.
Yep.
And
with the hero class, you're not going to have far to go.
I actually have a serious problem with things that are out of balance, and I have a complaint about Blizzard with that. At the start of this expansion, I'm sorry. I'm trying to.
The salt is pouring out, folks. I love it. Keep it going.
I'm sorry.
No,
it's
keep
like,
it going.
I know we've been here for like 4 hours for now, but at the beginning of this expansion, hunters. I'm like a big hunter person. I play a lot of hunters. At the beginning of this expansion, we had all 300 classes perfectly balanced to such an extent that people would ask us on the podcast, "What should I play?" And we're like, "Whatever you like. It does not matter. It's all good. It's all great right now." And then they changed it. Why did they do that? I don't know. It was perfectly balanced. The dream of everything is balancing all this stuff. And by the way, the thing that Holinka's doing with the PvP, I suggested that to him. I'm really glad that he was already doing it because I think it needed to be done. I can actually play PvP sometime, but putting it all on like skill, so much better than putting it on gear. But anyway, we had balance. It was perfect. Why did they change it? I don't know. And then the joke that Ian Hazakostas made about we don't want people to play demonology. Well, now we know why, because they were giving it to demon hunters. Why would you do that? And they're changing survival. I don't. Maybe it's gonna be great, but why would you even do that? It was perfect. Every hunter was happy. Why? I don't understand Blizzard these days. They're doing all this stuff that makes no sense. It's like they're changing things just to change things. And I, if I was going to BlizzCon, this is the kind of stuff I would like to ask people, which is one reason why I'm not going to BlizzCon, because I would probably end up with a restraining order, like keep the crazy lady away from us, because I want to know why they do these things. I love this company and I love this game, but I would like to understand why these changes are made. I'm not complaining about the changes much, maybe a little bit, but I want to understand why the change is being made, because then I'll be able to understand why it's being made, and it won't bug me so much. We now know that we're losing, the, I don't know, destruction, demonology, whatever, is being lost because it's going to be part of a demon hunter. Okay, now we know that, so, sucks to be you, Warlocks, but at least you know. So,
Yeah.
But why is this change being made your survival? I don't know. Why am I being stuck with a gun that's like the size of a portable cannon and someone stuck some tusks on it? I'm a blood elf.
Oh, that is great. Well,
So,
I will.
Yeah. I'm temporarily out. Better close the show before I think of something else.
Well, I will say, is as much as you are not excited about Class Halls, I am equally as actually excited.
Hey, once I can put my Christmas decorations up in my class hall, I'll like it a lot better.
Well, see,
Just saying.
me as a monk, and I can only I main a monk. I do have I have a hunter at level that's gearing. I have a DK that's on his way and a shaman. So I have a few different tunes, even being so new. But I will say, the monk community has been incredible to me, and I say this time and time again on my show. Monk meditation, monk craft, Peak of Serenity, Chai Tea, Daikatsu, LeBlue, Air, Monkey-O, Mag. I could go on and on. Terraburn. Everyone in the community has been incredible. I cannot wait to go hang out in a place with monks and do monk things, whatever those might be. I am pumped about that. And I'm even pumped about my hunter, like being able to go in. While this, yes, it's gonna force a little bit of, and it's in all reality, it doesn't really force any interaction that you don't want to have. I mean, ignore chat. You don't necessarily have to interact with these folks, but if you want to, what a great place to find. What a great place to find other like-minded wowers, and to build a community around your class. Because I can tell you right now, the monk community, we're like a family. I mean, it's really, some of these people have become amazing friends to me in a very short amount of time. In fact, when I go to BlizzCon, I will be staying in a house with 11 other monks. We have a monk house, which there's also going to be some DKs there, but we don't talk about them. I think one of them's a gnome, so
I'm sure they're alts of monks.
He doesn't count. Yeah, they all have monks, so, or did at some point, because Rip Monk and everybody's going Demon Hunter now. So
yeah, I know.
But I'm super pumped about it. I'm excited about this X Pack. The cool thing, I guess, one of the great things about being a new player to this and not having years invested in the lore is they can retcon whatever they want. They can kill anybody they want. I do have a couple favorites that I would prefer to not see touched. And I do have some opinions about, like, my artifact weapon. We have not seen the Brewmaster one, and please, Blizz, please, if anyone from Blizz ever listens to a word that I say on any podcast that I ever created up to this point, please Someone listen to this simple statement. As a brewmaster monk, give me a giant freaking keg. That's it. I just want a giant keg. I want that to be my artifact weapon. Chin Storm Stout has the, this kind of cool thing that he carries around, like a keg on a stick. Like, give me that. Do not give me a puny little stick with like a drinking gourd on it. I know we already have that, but or some weird looking monk big spear. I just want a keg. That's it, Blizz. Could you please, like Ian, Lore, Bashiok, I know you're gone, but hey, you got their cell phone numbers. Shoot them a text. None of these people listen to my podcast, by the way. But if one of them
on Twitter, they
across
did ask for what would you like.
I want a keg, and I responded. I've also voted,
Okay.
and I believe there was an other option. I voted other, and yeah, you will hear in the coming months until they announce what our weapon is. You will hear I want a keg a lot on my podcast, so be prepared for that.
You know what? Deep down in my heart, I really, really want.
What is that?
I want to wear my chef's hat, and I want a frying pan or pot, and I want a spoon, a big spoon in the other hand, like a ladle maybe.
Oh, that would be great.
I know. I've got like a 30-pound fish in my bank, just waiting for the day when I can transmog that thing.
Nice.
Yep.
Nice.
I have pitchforks and all that kind of stuff. I am prepared. Someday, they're gonna let me. They will.
Nice. Well, Alessander, I wanna thank you for coming on the show. Thank you for all of the wonderful information, opinions, views, thoughts, all of the things. It's been an absolute pleasure and an honor, really, having you on. You are somewhat of a celebrity in podcast circles, and well, not somewhat of a celebrity. Let me take somewhat. You are a celebrity in podcast circles, and I really appreciate, respect, and just thank you for taking the time out this evening to come on the Game Case show. Draven wants me to thank you for the heaping amounts of salt that you ladled out. That's a rarity on the Game Case show, so thank you. Draven evidently thinks it's been a little bland lately, and you have appropriately spiced it up, ma'am.
I tried to be good. I really did. I try and be fair about it. There's good and bad.
No, and you're good, because you as positive as I am, and you will even see me occasionally calling out, well, not occasionally, quite frequently, calling out the salt of the community in the incessant kind of complaining that seems to be there because Blizzard said something, so I need to whine. And that is not to say that there is not valid criticism, that there is not, that we are not allowed to have an opinion that isn't Blizzard poops gold and farts rainbows. Because that's not the case either. If we do that, we're doing a disservice to ourselves and the game.
Yeah. You cannot give feedback that just says you're perfect, nothing's wrong.
Exactly. So do you have any shout outs for tonight, Miss Alessander?
I would like to shout out to my friend Taz, who won that rare mount. He's been in the chat room, hanging out, being new to this whole chat room thing. I want to get him into CTR, so shout out to CTR because you guys are just amazing. I would like to shout out to the Warcraft Hunters Union because hunters, come on! We are pretty awesome, and despite what I said earlier, I don't mind hanging out with a bunch of hunters, my hunters hall. But, we're all good people. It's going to be great. And I do love looking at everybody's pets because this is so wonderful. Everybody in the chat room, you guys are pretty awesome. I mean, I know all of you from being in chat rooms myself. And it's nice to have, like, people you know and talk with them. We don't talk nearly enough, so, I'm glad that we got to do it. And I hope that we can continue talking. And that goes for you too, Cuddles, because you're something kind of unique, or at least unique in my experience in WoW, is you're new, and so everything is wonderful to you. But you don't say that everything is great. You see it through just a different set of eyes. And I really appreciate that. You've got a really good point of view, and you share it. And you've got this podcast thing going, your Twitch stream. You're super active, and I really like that.
Well, thank you. Thank you. It's easy to be this excited about the game where I am right now. I really appreciate the community yourself, definitely prominently in that of the podcast community, the CTR community, the general WoW community that's kind of wrapped their arms around me. I would not have gotten to episode 20 without some love and appreciation and support from the community. Yourself, we've done a lure tour of Karazhan together.
And we will do Stratholme, as God is my witness.
Woohoo! I cannot. We need to get that on the books and get that scheduled.
We do.
That was an absolute blast. And it's just this has been an incredible journey, and I appreciate everyone in it. And that kind of dovetails right into my shout outs for this week. Part of this being an incredible journey is I have had an opportunity to be on some great podcasts recently. Draven, that is in the chat room, has had me on his Epic Fail podcast, and that was an absolute blast with Charlotte and Theory. I raid with Draven in Theory, and we've also been playing some Rocket League together. And just the friendships that have blossomed throughout this journey have been incredible. Hawkeye, last Friday I was on BlizzCon Countdown. Mick Montgomery, big shout out to him for having myself, Chris Allman, and Spencer Downey, aka Spencer HD, on the starting zone this last week. And of course my guildmates, Navox, Salmisis, and Belschnickel, for inviting me in to discuss Legion on the Converted podcast this past week. This has been such an incredible journey, and my raid team, I feel like I'm accepting an Academy Award, and somebody needs to play some like daggum get this guy off the stage music. But I can't. Rubber Chickens, Bacon and Kegs, Cake, Paluk, Draven, Alessander,
Jules, Marconin.
Jules and Marco. Oh my gosh. Jules tweeted today that she listened to my last podcast episode and enjoyed it. And for me, in the CTR community and in the greater podcasting community at large, to have Jules say something like that, like each and every person that's ever said anything nice, do not get me wrong, I literally giggle snort anytime somebody says something nice to me. I'm amazed that you want to watch a fat guy with a neck beard talk about WoW every week. Like, thank you. This is incredible. But Jules like publicly said something very nice, and that, like, wow. Just wow. And speaking of praise and adulation being heaped on all things that I do, I'm going to go ahead, and I keep on forgetting to do this. So I'm going to throw this in here. This wasn't in the show notes, but bear with me, Miss Alessander.
Okay.
I am going to finally read a few of the iTunes reviews that I've gotten in the past weeks. So we actually have 4 from the American iTunes. Thank you to each and every one of you. We have BMW Custom, who is a frequent visitor to the stream. He said, I come from the Twitch stream. This is by far the best gaming talk show I've seen. 5 stars. We got another 5-star rating from Isaac Brock. You're off to a great start. Keep doing what you're doing. You're motivating me to start my own podcast. Great job. Love the podcast. Nazix Azermist US. And Ijax says, great show, go bacon and kegs, do work. For someone who has been in, I'm sorry, I'm trying to paraphrase the typo. For someone who's such little time in this game, he knows what's going on. Cuddles brings the fun. Now, if I can get him to speak at ×2 in Raid, listen to them one after another. And then another review from Kaz, who is a frequent visitor to the stream. Kaz Frosty from the Worgen Howl podcast. We miss you in the stream tonight, guys. Hope you're having a good night. I know we got started late. And by the way, if you haven't checked out the Worgen Howl podcast, go check them out. They're great. She says, Cuddles has an infectious personality and delivers great insight into the happenings in and around the world of Warcraft. My husband and I love when we can catch the show live on Twitch. Strongly recommend that you sub to get consistently great content. Wow, guys, I cannot tell you how much these iTunes reviews mean to me. I definitely appreciate it. It's great for the show as well. Helps more people see it. Helps people rank. I'm blathering on right now as I'm clicking over to the Australian iTunes, because for some reason Australia loves me. Go Australia. So we have one more from there, and then we'll wrap this thing up. From Where's Wally CTR, Addictive World of Warcraft podcast. I listen every week and watch the game case on YouTube. Looking forward to next week's episode. Wally, thank you for that 5-star review. If you have not left us a review or a thumbs up on Stitcher and iTunes, please go do that. Alessandra, before we get out of here, where can people find you on the interwebs?
I am on Twitter, but my name is pretty hard to find. I pronounce it Dysaman, but you can probably just find me by searching for Alessander, Alisander, or just ask Cuddles or Ro or any of the people that I routinely pester with my emails. They could probably point you my way. And I have mail at alessander.com. I figured that might help. And that's probably the easiest way. Huntingpartypodcast at gmail.com. That'll eventually get to me, although not directly. And yeah, pretty much.
Well, tell us.
And I also got 2 pets while I was running Carzon. If you would like to do a giveaway after we log off for the show, for the chat room. So.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Chat room. If you would like 2 pets, go ahead and say something, and we'll I'll worry about doing some sort of random number generator while we're getting out of here. For those listening on the download, sorry, you should have been in this chat room. No, the Hunting Party podcast. You mentioned that a couple times. Where can people find the Hunting Party podcast?
We are every other week on Sundays at about 1:30 Pacific time, and we kind of varied a little bit, but that's about right. And usually we'll tweet it ahead of time. This week is not. Wait, no, we did a show last Sunday, so not this Sunday, but the Sunday after. Because we wanted to do it because Legion. So yeah.
Okay, so now you mentioned Legion with it. The Hunting Party podcast. I'm presuming this isn't about free range hunting Elam or Elix in like South Africa. This is a World of Warcraft podcast.
Yes.
Maybe directed towards hunters.
Yes.
Oh.
We have many raiders. We have theory crafters. We have Bendak from Blizzard Watch, Delirium from Hunts the Wild. He's got a Spanish version that is beautiful to hear him say it, but I can't pronounce it. We've got Artemis Howl. We have Dark Brew, who's the senior statesman of the podcast. He's the one that has these pets just show up and follow him around. These like ultra rare and spectral everything. He's so amazing. And we had Solar Flare, but he now works for Blizzard. We're hoping to get Roger Brown on the show. It's a really fun group. And being able to listen to them talk about hunters and all the things that they know, I feel like I am learning at the feet of I don't know, just amazing people. And also Artemis, check her out on Twitter because She dyed her hair like Legion colors. It's like this green and yellow thing. It's really pretty. It's her new Twitter icon. She's got the picture up. Definitely should go see that.
Ooh, definitely gonna go check that one out.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you once more, Miss Alessander, and thank you for everyone that's listening tonight. That's gonna be it for episode 20. If you'd like to join our live audience and hang out in the chat room, come join us on twitch.tv/thegamecase at 8 p.m. Eastern each and every Thursday. You could be like some of these amazing people that have been in the chat room tonight. Draven, Hexabel, Superior Brandon, Taz, and plenty of others that evidently had to dip out. Thank you for listening to episode 20 of The Game Case. You can find me on Twitter at Mullet863. You can find the show at The Game Case Show. You can download us on iTunes and Stitcher. Those thumbs up and 5-star ratings do mean a lot to the show. Thank you for taking your time to do those. And you can catch live recordings of the show or our tips, tricks, and kill videos at youtube.com/thegamecase, or you can find all of the things on the official site of the Game Case Show, thegamecase.com. And do not forget, on that Twitch channel that I mentioned earlier, twitch.tv/thegamecase, I do stream 6 nights a week playing a variety of games. Got a little Rocket League going here lately, Heroes of the Storm, of course, World of Warcraft. We do a SWOTOR stream each and every Wednesday. But guys, thank you so much for listening. Alessander, thank you once more. That is
It was my pleasure.
Aww. That's going to do it for us tonight. Game Case out.
Thank you for joining us this week inside the Game Case. Please join us
Sounds
next
like
week
2
for
hours.
more news, tips, and ramblings about the World of Warcraft. Game Case out.
I really enjoyed myself, though. So, time flies.
I'm glad you had a good time.